Not that kind of Christian here. I have been dying to put a video on this together for quite some time. Now, being a little bit lazy on my research, I'm going to rely heavily on something I read on religiousInstitute.org. I'm just scrolling back to get you the name of the person who copyrighted this. It was the Reverend Elder Don Eastman, copyrighted in 1990 by the Los Angeles Universal Fellowship Press. Let me just give you a look at him, and there's all he said. Yeah, that's where you can find this if you want to look online. Come back to me for a second then. I'm going to try and just very briefly go through some of the common passages. Yep. Now, the first thing that everyone will tell you who wants to use the Bible to say that being gay, LGBTQI, or anything is an absolute sin. It is, to use their favourite word, an abomination. How many of those of you who are gay and have heard from Christians before heard that lovely word repeated with such vehemence? 'Tis an abomination. Now, he says Leviticus 18:22 and 20:13. Christians do not today follow the rules and rituals described in Leviticus, but some ignore its definitions of their own uncleanness while quoting Leviticus to condemn homosexuals. Such abuse of Scripture distorts the Old Testament meaning and denies a New Testament message. Here's one that Stuart Messages for Our Time absolutely loves. He even quoted it today. He loves it so much he quoted it on one of his videos today. You shall not lie with a male as one lies with a female. It is an abomination. Stuart didn't use abomination today. Perhaps he might use it when he quotes it again. Going on from what I'm quoting on the page here. These words occur solely in the Holiness Code of Leviticus, a ritual manual for Israel's priests. Bearing in mind, Stuart, Messages for Our Time, is a Jewish convert. Their meaning can only be fully appreciated in the historical and cultural context of the ancient Hebrew people. Israel was in a unique place as a chosen people, one of God, who was told to avoid the practices of other peoples and gods. I'm just going on a little bit longer. Yeah. Hebrew religion, characterized by the revelation of one God, stood in continuous tensions with the religion of the surrounding Canaanites, who worshipped multiple fertility gods and cults. Canaanite idol worship, which featured female and male cult prostitution, as noted in Deuteronomy 23:17, repeatedly compromised Israel's loyalty to God. The Hebrew word for male cult prostitute is Qadesh. I'll spell it Qadesh, and is often mistranslated in some versions of the Bible as sodomite. Right? So there's one you can use. It's one I think people need to use frequently to say, this is rubbish. It is out of culture, it is out of context, it is out of modern understanding. Even the word they are using is one for male prostitute. Yeah? Nothing to do with two men who are in love, two women who are in love, being with each other physically and emotionally, I would say even spiritually. So there's one for you. And a pause, see if I can find another one. I'll try not to take this much beyond 10 minutes. Okay, let's go into Romans now. The New Testament edition scriptural study. Romans, I'm going to use chapter 1, verses 24 to 27. I'm quoting again from the article, religiousinstitute.org. Most New Testament books, including the four Gospels, are silent on same-sex acts, and Paul is the only author who makes any reference to the subject. The most negative statement by Paul regarding same-sex acts occurs in Romans 1:24 to 27, where in the context of a larger argument on the need for all people of the gospel of Christ, certain behavior is given as an example of uncleanness or idolatrous Gentiles. This raises the question, does this passage refer to all homosexual acts or certain behavior known to Paul's readers? The book was written to Jewish and Gentile Christians in Rome, who would have been familiar with the sexual excesses of their contemporaries, especially Roman emperors. They would also have been aware of tensions in the early church regarding Gentile observance of Jewish laws. As noted in Acts 15 and Paul's letter to the Galatians, Jewish laws in Leviticus mentioned male same-sex relationships in the context of idolatry. The homosexual passages, nearly finished, the homosexual passages in Romans 1:24 to 27 were believed to result from idolatry and associated with some very serious offences as noted in Romans 1. Taken in this larger context, it should be obvious that such acts significantly differ, here's the important point, significantly differ from loving, responsible, lesbian and gay relationships seen today. Now, I'm really going to sort of fairly much leave this off now, okay? It's a bit jerky because I didn't put stabilization on the camera. But I'm going to leave this off, okay? 2 of the main clobber passages, and I call them clobber passages, that Christians will use to throw their Bible at you and say, terrible sin, you're going to hell. And some of them might even add, turn or burn. Those people who abuse and weaponize the Bible in that way absolutely disgust me. That is not godly. It is not Christian. It is offensive and it is exclusive. So God bless you all. I hope if you find this of some use, you can quote these things to the people in church or people calling themselves Christians who will say, you can't be a Christian because you're gay. Bye.